I'm gonna stop doing the day 1, day 2, day 3 stuff because I feel like by the time we get to like day 200 or whatever, I'm probably gonna be using up an entire notebook, and I don't want to do that because I kind of need that for like solving math questions or whatever. So yeah, I can always put the date in the title. That can always work. I don't need to use up actual tangible material. So yeah, somebody suggested a very good idea for one of these things, and it's just for me to talk about how my life works here. And I feel like, considering that most people who are watching these videos are from the United States, they're from the UK and Australia. Most people who are watching these videos are from English-speaking countries, so I feel like it's a very good idea to kind of give you a faint idea of how all of this works, or at least how it works for me. And I feel like we should just start this whole thing from the point I wake up. And I usually wake up at 6:20, although the dorm kind of announces everybody to wake up at 6:30 through a speakerphone that's right up there. I usually wake up at 6:20. That's just when I wake up. My body just kind of gets up right there. And I start lifting weights to like get some blood pumping through my veins and, to get really fully awake. And by 7:25, I've already taken a shower. I'm all dressed up. I probably watched like a couple of YouTube videos while doing the weightlifting thing. And there's a cafeteria in the dorm. And the food here is actually really, really good. Surprisingly good, in fact. Arguably better than the food at the Cram school building. So I always make sure I eat breakfast. I get to the Cram school by 7:50, and it's like the school's like a song away from the dorm, so it's not like I'm ever late. And I get in there by 7:50 a.m. Somebody just coughed really loudly. And there's like police sirens outside for some reason. It's almost like there's some criminal shit going on 24/7 around here. And I've seen some quote unquote whorehouses. I'm not prostitution stations, whatever you fucking call it, brothels. Do they even still call them brothels? I'm not really sure. I don't know. I've never been to one, so how should I know? There's a lot of those around here. Not sure why. But the cram school starts at 7:50 a.m. and it ends at 10 p.m. Yeah, so there's like 7 classes every day, at least throughout the weekdays, and each class is about 50 minutes long. There's like 10 minutes of recess in between classes, and obviously we get lunch and dinner at the cram school, so technically within the 14-hour period there's like somewhere around 3 hours of break time. But outside the time that I'm actually eating or going to the bathroom, I'm usually just sitting down at my desk and studying. So technically, among the 3 hours of break time, I'm probably studying about 2 hours. Within those 3 hours, I do listen to some albums though while solving some like easy math questions, so it's not like I'm completely zombifying myself to this schedule. The teachers are very nice, and they're really good, and they're clearly very good in their profession and their subjects. And if anything, the fact that even if they were half as good as they are right now, it would have still been an upgrade, because my high school teachers were so bad that I tried to kill myself. Literally. So, progress right here. The kids here are very clearly both determined and very tired. You can see it in their eyes. And they are not here to make friends. They're just diving into the books. And I'm like, how can you possibly do this? My mind is going everywhere at once. I can't concentrate. I want to move. I want to do things. I want to meet people, but instead I'm sitting here and I feel like I'm wasting my life. But at the same time, if I'm thinking this way, I'm actually wasting time. So what am I gonna do? And yeah, I just try. I fucking try because I don't want to fall behind. I mean, there's this one cute girl. Like I've already talked about this. There's this one cute girl in my class. She's like 5 feet tall, but fuck it, I'm like 5'8". I'm not a tall guy. 5 foot is perfect for me. And turns out she goes to my gym. So that's just gonna make everything, like literally everything, awkward. From 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. outside of dinner time at the Cram school, we're supposed to have self-study sessions, which is basically just us studying by ourselves, and it's mandatory. You can't leave. You can't even go outside for a walk in one of those hours. You know, you need to just sit down, shut the fuck up, because everybody else is studying, and just study your fucking ass off. And God, it's hard sitting there and trying to study all kinds of fucking bullshit. But you know, everybody else is doing it, so why not me? Oh, and I know this is kind of random, but rest in peace, Dolores from the Cranberries. The Cranberries ruled my middle school years. I loved their first 2 albums, and although I'm not a big fan of their later work, those first 2 albums ruled my fucking world. Back to the subject at hand. The subjects that I study are Korean, which includes both literature and non-literary texts. Obviously, we do math because that's what we're famous for, isn't it? And within that math subject, there's geometry, calculus, some stuff about probability and statistics, and some stuff we do with the vectors. So it's some heavy shit, but we do it. We do have English, but I don't really study English because, you know, this video in itself is proof why I don't really need to study English. And we do Korean history, and by the way, Korean history is about, Korea is about 4,000 years old, and we need to memorize every single thing about that. So yeah, that's just fun. That's fun. And like, I need to choose 2 subjects in science, and I decided to go for chemistry and earth science. And earth science just because I chose earth science just because I've heard it's supposed to be easy, and I decided to go for chemistry because I'm actually really good at chemistry. I don't know why. I've never been interested in chemistry. I never wanted to be a chemist in my whole life, but it just works for me. It's kind of like math, and all of this, every single one of these subjects will be in the college entry exam, and it's gonna fuck me in the ass, and I know it's gonna do it, but I'm just gonna go for it. Like, all this studying is basically me lubing up for the exam. Now, some of you have been asking about the weekends and how all that works. Well, technically, I can take the weekends off. I can. It's not mandatory for me to go to the Cram school on the weekends. And I do take some time off for, you know, recording this kind of stuff and watching YouTube at lunch, or once a month I'm planning on watching a movie in the theaters. But that just means I'm studying 9 hours a day instead of 14, because here's the thing. The weekends kind of give you a chance to kind of catch up on everything that you haven't been doing studying-wise, and sure, I can just waste my day and have some time for myself, but unfortunately, everybody else isn't doing that. Everybody else is fucking studying, and I cannot fall behind. I'm paying way too much fucking money to do that. So, instead of 14 hours a day, I take the morning off, and I get to the Cram school and I study till 10 p.m. So technically it's just like I'm still studying 9 hours a day. It's still, to some of you that might still seem like a lot, but to me it's kind of not enough because there's just so much to fucking do. And here's the thing, man. Korean teenagers, I don't know how they are portrayed in movies and shows and just in the media in general. And, you know, usually when Korean teenagers are portrayed in comedies or whatever, they're kind of portrayed as really busy-minded, study-oriented people, and some of you might be thinking that's just an exaggeration, that's just a joke, that's just a stereotype. When you actually get to these countries, it's going to be totally different, and that's really not the case. Most Korean teenagers are very busy and very study-oriented. Not even teenagers, most people in their early 20s are too. And there are various documentaries about it on YouTube. You can always check those out. And I believe, maybe because of all this, I believe we're like, what, #1 in teenage suicide rates in the world? I'm pretty sure that's the case, at least in the top 5 or the top 10. I wonder fucking why. But here's the thing. That's how my week works. And to some of you, that might sound like complete hell. And it kinda is. But, I do try to have some time for myself to not go crazy. Because, let's face it, if I keep this schedule and not have any time for myself, I'd probably be dead by now. Like, already, it's only been 2 weeks, but I'd probably be dead. No, I do try to have some time for myself. I make sure I listen to a full album at lunch or dinner. So I can't really listen to anything that's more than an hour long, but still, there are plenty of albums that are, like, under an hour. I read a chapter of a book every day. Right now I'm reading The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, and it's really good, and it really helps to keep my sanity, sustained, contained, whatever. And after that book I'm going to be reading either Bukowski's Ham on Rye or the Bob Dylan autobiography Chronicles. And I write songs, I write journals, kind of in a storytelling way. I might share them. I don't know. They're kind of pretentious and terrible. And I write some memos I'll use to record some stuff at home on the holidays, just so I can have, like, kind of like a bank of videos for me to release here week by week, like I said. And I record videos because it's nice to talk, even though I'm only talking to myself. And I don't know, I also watched this video that I really love. I'm not sure what the exact title is called, but it's a compilation of clips of 100 movie scenes that used music or songs, usually songs, and it's really good. You should check it out. I might put the link in this. I'll put the link in the description. I'll do it. I'll just do it. And I work out at a gym that's like right there, like right over there. And I listen to Slayer, and I listen to Run the Jewels, and I fucking work the shit out of myself just to get that sweat out. And I feel way better after it. So it's not like there's not a single way to keep my sanity here. There are, and I'm utilizing all of it while studying my ass off. And not completely going insane to stay the fuck alive, really. And it's not, here's the thing, this is gonna end in 10 months, and that might seem long within the first 2 weeks, but I realize that it's probably gonna pass just like that, so I'm not totally miserable. I'm sure in hindsight this is all gonna seem really short, and because it's going to be really short, I need to utilize every single second, and I need to study, which is really the part that really nags me. But what can you do? I'm fucking Korean. I kind of need to accept the fact that I'm living in this country, and that I'm kind of part of this system, and one person cannot destroy a structure. You kind of need to go with it, and maybe later on you'll have a chance to criticize it if you become famous or whatever, or if you start writing books or essays. But until then, I'm just a 19-year-old kid swimming in the sauce, swimming in the system, wanting to fucking die. But hey, that's just everybody. So yeah, there's not much to say, and I feel like I'm disturbing a lot of people in this storm, so I'll end it here. Bye. That's usually what people say, right?